Everyone, welcome back to our channel, and in today's video we are going to create a crystal mandala exactly like this. Now for this, what we are going to use is a watercolor paper of any size that you have available. I'm using a watercolor paper of A5 size, which is the Brewster 300 GSM watercolor paper. Along with it, we would be needing few of our fine liners in different sizes. I am going to be using the 0.3, 0.5 and 0.8 mm, and I'm using here to color up the crystals the water soluble brush pens of Brewster, which are the Brewster Aquarelle brush pens. But instead, if you do not have these, you can use watercolors or any pencil colors or any jelly rolls to color fill it. There is absolutely nothing mandatory about it. Along with it, we would be needing a few of the brushes to blend off the colors together. If you're using a wet medium, a glitter white gel pen, and the other necessary requirements are a scale, a compass and a protector. That's it. So let's get started without wasting any further time. So starting with, what I've done here is I've divided in my page into 4 equal halves, drawing a vertical midline and a horizontal midline. The next thing that we are going to do is take out our compass and go ahead and at approximately 4 centimeter, I'm gonna go ahead and draw a circle. Like this. Inside of it, the thing that I'm gonna do is, using my pencil first, I'm gonna simply go ahead and draw some geometric shapes of different sizes. Stiff geometric shapes. Triangular, pentagon, somewhat like a square shape too, of any size. There is no hard and fast rule regarding this. Go in all directions with the shapes and structures. Make it really stiff. Just go in all different directions as you can, and I'm gonna keep it till here. The next thing that I'm gonna do is, after I'm done with my basic structure of the crystals that I'm gonna make, I'm gonna take out my 0.5 mm, which is a quite thick tip fine liner, and I'm going to go over it and redraw all of the shapes once again. Again, you do not need to be very precise, just go with the flow, enjoy yourself while making these lines. And here I'm done drawing the basic structure with my thicker tip fine liner. Switching now to a much thinner tip, which is the 0.3 mm, as you can see. What I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna go ahead and divide these into again much more geometric structures. try and start from one edge and bring it down to make it look much more broken up into pieces. Again, go in all different directions, starting from edge to edge to make these look much like crystal formed. I'm just gonna go ahead and divide this a bit as well. And here I'm done with the basic structure of our crystals. I'm just gonna quickly erase off the inward pencil lines around it. Be very gentle over your fine liners. While you're erasing it, do not put too much of pressure, do not go on scribbling much. And again, with my thicker tip 0.5 mm fine line, I'm just gonna add a few diamond-like shapes. Not too much, just all sprinkled around, and a few bit of circles. I'm going to repeat the same with my 0.3 mm as well. Go for variation in sizes, structures, much more pointed, smaller circles. All around it. And you're good to go. Now next thing, before we go ahead and add colors to our crystal, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and again taking out our compass, gonna draw a concentric circle. This you can choose according to your own will. I'm going to also draw an outlining circle to the first circle that we created. A very thin marginal circle to separate our crystals from our mandala. Like this. I'm going for 2 circles, but you can go ahead and add as many layers of your choice. Next, taking out my compass, I'm going to place my center of the protector with the center of our paper here, and I'm going to quickly mark the 45-degree points on both the halves. The next thing that I'm going to do is taking out my scale again, I'm going to place it again in the center point and draw 2 diagonal lines on both the halves of my circles. Like this. The next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and draw a pattern shape first using my pencils. You can use your fine liners directly as well. A bit like a pointed petal, approximately in the mid size. Like this, and I'm going to repeat the same on all of the halves here. I'm just marking out approximate midpoint here so that it helps me with drawing my pattern shapes more accurately. I'm using my pencil first so that I know I have my perfect pattern shapes and I do not commit any mistakes while making them, or so that they seem as symmetrical as it can be. While you're using your pencils, keep in mind that you use them very lightly, because we are going to go ahead and redo them with our fine liners so that it is easily erasable. As you can see, I was rotating my paper as I was drawing around the circle. This way it helps me to gain much more control over the curved lines and draw symmetrical patterns. If this makes you comfortable to draw, you can try it out as well. So here I'm done with my pattern shapes, and what I'm going to do is again taking out the thicketed fine liner, which is the 0.5 mm. I'm gonna go over and redo my pattern shapes as well as these marginal circles. While you are doing or making the shapes, try to be as calm as possible and be slow and steady. Take your time to complete this. This way you will not only enjoy the process more, but the outcome that will come is much more commendable. After I'm done drawing the pattern shapes in the same way like I did this, diamond shapes and circles, I'm gonna add these to the surrounding of my mandala patterns as well. Again, not much and as equally distributed as possible. Not very symmetrical, but as much as evenly distribution you can do. Now switching my fine liner to the 0.3 mm, I'm gonna repeat the same with the diamond shapes as well. Now I'm going to also add a few dots, again of different sizes, all throughout. And even as well in the composition of crystals here. Then I'm adding these little embellishments all around your composition. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go ahead and redo these pattern shapes again like in marginal line. These outlinings won't only help with the neatness and cleanliness of your mandala, but also provide the clarity inside each and every pattern shape of yours. After this, in the pattern shapes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and draw two swirls from the outward side of my pattern shape towards the center area. I'm gonna start my two petals from each side. into a small semicircular bump shape, and on the other halves I'm going to just fill out the remaining spaces and add a mid-big circle along with 2 circles on either side, and again fill out the remaining spaces to make the detailings pop out. Some line additions to make it look more intricate, and I'm going to repeat the same on all of my other pattern shapes. Take your time drawing all of the detailings with as much precision as you can and as steadily as you can, so that you love the outcome as much you are enjoying the process. Finally, I'm done with all of the detailings in my pattern shapes. The next and the final thing that we do before we add the colors is just take an eraser and erase off all the unnecessary and reference lines. Now for the crystals, I'm using the Brewster Aquarel brush pens in the shade lemon yellow and sky blue, and I'm going to also use a thin round brush to blend those two colors and so that they do not mix and form an unnecessary cream. So what I'm doing is I'm starting off by taking a bit of water in my brush, and I'm going for one shape at a time, applying water over just one shape, going for the wet on wet technique. And towards the top edge, I am going for the lemon yellow shade, just a bit. And in the bottom half, I am going for the sky blue tone. And then using the thin round brush, I'm going to blend these two colors as gently as possible without mixing and forming an unnecessary color tone. Same way, I'm gonna go ahead and cover up all of the other shapes. You can do the same with the use of your watercolors as well. Nothing mandatory to use the same materials that I am using. You would get the same result with your regular watercolors as well. Just keep in mind to go for one shape at a time. For different variations of two different colors, you can also use a single color tone with a darker bottom half or a darker gradation on one half and a lighter tone on the other half. also do this with the help of pencil colors so that they are easily mixable. And here I'm almost done with the color filling of my crystals. Another thing that I'm gonna do over here is I'm just gonna take some clean water and a bit of bigger size brush and go around applying water, clean water all around my mandala. Need to be a bit fast with this technique so that it doesn't dry up and helps on with blending the colors perfectly together. Do not go in between your pattern shapes. And I'm going to quickly go over and using my brush pens just color fill some of the outer regions, and again in the same way blend it together with the two colors that I've used for my crystals. I'm just going very random with the colors and not being very specific to the areas that I'm adding them. And again with the red brush, I'm just blending those colors a bit towards the outer side as well as along with each other. Use ample amount of water and try and control it. See, I'm just not very precise with the edges on the inward side. I'm just going with very randomly spreading out the colors towards just the outward side, making it look like a splash of colors from the crystal. So I'm going to leave it there and let it dry for a bit, and then we'll go ahead and add the final touches to make our mandala, crystal mandala here pop. So here it has dried off. The next step that is to add the highlights. Now for this you can use a regular white gel pen, a white jelly roll, or even an acrylic white color, white watercolor, or any white pen that you have available. And I'm using my white gel pen because I feel a bit comfortable working with the gel pen. And I'm gonna add a few dots and lines here to the color crystals along all of the shapes to give the extreme highlights. Just a few lines or a dot all along crystal sheet. Try to keep it mostly towards the upper region of your crystals, where the chances of light falling are extreme. this. And next thing that I'm gonna do to make the crystals pop out inside of our mandala here is I'm gonna use a much bigger tip fine liner, which is the 0.8 mm fine liner, as you can see. And I'm gonna again quickly go over and outline the structures. This just adds an extra bit of boldness to your crystals, making them look separate from each other and a precise block of each one of them. Do not draw curved lines in case you're drawing crystals. Try to make the edges stiff and pointed. So here I'm done outlining all of the crystals with a boulder tip. To give a similar resemblance to my pattern shapes, I'm gonna again just go with the thicker tip over the top of each of my pattern shapes. And finally, after I'm done redoing the outer pattern shapes as well, the final step is, this is totally optional, and if you have these available like gold glitter pens, gel pens, markers or watercolors, any sort of metallic shimmer, you can use that. Now with a gold glitter gel pen, I'm just filling off these bigger diamond shapes. And I'm going to also add a few additional dots here and there. Just a few additional dots here and there. Same way, I'm going to just fill off these outer shapes as well. To give the similar impact, I'm going to not add any additional gold outwards, just these spaces. And after I'm done adding the gold, you have your crystal mandala ready with a hint of sparkle effect to it as well. So hope you enjoy learning and creating this one of a kind crystal mandala with me. I would like to see your recreations, so do tag us on Instagram if you recreate using this tutorial, and also let us know your views in the comment section below. And do not forget to like, share and subscribe for more such unique ideas and concepts and tutorials in the near future. Thank you for watching.